All right. Well, welcome to our February meeting of basketball officiating. Off ball is the topic tonight. Did you see it? That's sometimes what you have to ask when you blow your whistle. Did you see it? Because it's off ball. Like everybody's watching the action on the ball, right? So I'm going to have a few videos tonight that will highlight some stuff that happens on off ball. And we'll go over hopefully some positioning, how to see it, how to catch it, whose it should be. So let's get started. All right. And played fast again. What did you guys witness? There was a little action in the post off ball. Oh, that circle is not even. That really upsets me. You can disregard that circle. These two players here, getting a little into it, maybe more white than blue, but blue's making some motion. And do we see the center walk in? I don't know if he told him to clean it up, but he walked in and he clearly said something to them. Does anybody see anything foul worthy here?
Well, he displaced him.
If you call a foul here, you wouldn't be wrong. But I like the official coming in. Again, not sure exactly what he said, but coming in and making your voice heard. Look at the player, the white player. His hands are up, kind of like, oh yeah, I wasn't doing nothing, because he heard the voice of the official. He even looks at him right there. Looks at him, heard the voice, and says, oh, okay. That sometimes is all we need to do to clean up off-ball physicality. This is in the third period, 1-point game. So competitive matchup. Again, that circle, I don't know what I did there. So right now they're all post up. Everything looks good. Ball moves around. And that's when these two continue. More white, I think, than blue. And instead of allowing that, doing nothing and just watching and waiting and making sure that we get it, which we should, we need to keep watching this. We need to identify there is some action here. These two are kind of physical, whether it's on one or the other. These two are kind of physical, and we need to stay on top of it. But instead of just sitting there and watching, just like this official, if we can make our voice heard, hey, knock it off, clean it up.
Yeah,
I'm watching. Whatever you want to say, just to let them know you're there. Many times that helps.
the lead stepped in too, because while he was on ball, while he was in at the elbow, then he pulled out to the top. You saw the lead official kind of step in as well and really give him the eyeball.
I think you're right.
If you back it up.
Yeah, no, I see that. He comes in.
Right there. So now he's counting them, and then this guy steps in.
Look, he even kind of leans in a little.
Yep. He's got him.
That's good. We've got two officials watching this possible escalation of contact. But if you can, doesn't fit in every situation. Sometimes we just can't do it. If you can, use your voice, get ahead of anything happening, let them know there's an official watching what you're doing. And generally kids clean their act up. Sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes they don't even know they're doing anything wrong. I get that. But the ones that are trying to cause some issues are the ones that even aren't maybe then they hear, okay, I got to play a little bit cleaner because I'm being watched. It seems to help in many situations. Do we agree with that?
Yeah.
All right, next one. Did you see what happened? It wasn't a shooting foul. He got the foul before the shot. What did he call? Ball is out here, right? Center is watching the ball, then it's matchup. What's lead got to watch right now? Technically. By primary coverage area, what is the lead supposed to be watching?
At the free throw line and
Nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
Number one is in his area. The other one's on the line, so you could maybe say, but there's not really anything. So does he get to just take a break?
No, he should be helping out.
Obviously, he needs to be helping out, which he was. He's identifying this matchup at the top of the key and gets a foul. Did he get the foul right?
Full.
You see a whole handful of jersey here?
Yeah.
Holding the jersey and trying to reach around to get the foul. I like this call. Some may say, well, let it play out. He got the ball. And I could understand that philosophy. But if we're going to grab a jersey, if you can get this early in a game, it'll help set the tone, not just jersey grabs, but it'll help set the tone of cleaning up play in general, I think. Now,
Josh, I have a basic question for you. I called this in a game one night and I did the holding hand mechanic. Would
Okay.
that be correct?
that is correct.
Okay.
What I would also suggest, even though the whistle came right here, tweet, but he's tweeting. What is he doing when he tweets? He's shooting, right? Now, I realize the ball doesn't go in, so there's nothing to wave off, but I like the wave off signal here to let everybody know not a shot. Just to help clear up maybe any confusion that might happen. You're going to tell it later anyway. You're going to say out of bounds here, out of bounds. Not sure he said out of bounds. Doesn't look like he did. Might have missed it. That's just as good, but I like the little no shot, no shot. I'm waving it off. There's nothing to wave off, but it tells everyone no shot, out of bounds here. And again, so if there's any confusion as to whether this is a shooting foul or not, then when you can go over to the coach, you can say he grabbed him at the top, grabbed his jersey before he came in for the shot. Do we agree with that, or does anyone have a different opinion?
I agree.
All right. And again, if we get this early, this is second period, end of the second period,
Right.
early enough still to establish we're not grabbing the jersey. And go over to the coach, too, if he asks what he did. If he asks, you don't need to volunteer this information. Another thing, a side note, I generally don't go to a coach and tell them what happened or what I saw unless they're questioning. If they question me and they want to know, I will tell them. But otherwise, I'm just going to go, I'm going to report, and I'm going to assume that they don't care or that they already know. But if they ask me, I'm going to say, Coach, he grabbed his jersey. I'm not going to just say that was a hold, Coach, he was holding him. I'm going to tell him exactly how he was holding him. He grabbed his jersey. Because again, then it helps the coach talk to his kids if they do and let them, okay, you stop grabbing the jersey. Yeah. All right, back to this game. We're watching these two here. Whistle. What do we think?
Pulling him. Well, the dancer.
You see that? So we've got, let's go back all the way to here. Okay, we've got, he's kind of backing him down, but White is not holding his ground. He's going with him. So not really a foul here. Do we agree? Kind of putting his arm around him to get position. Okay, we're watching this. This is the off-ball action. The lead is watching this entire thing, as he should. Ball goes over. It looks like they've got to have a play. This looks like a play designed to dump it into the post. Do we agree?
Yep.
Well, with that, since this is a play to dump it into the post, and he's grabbing him right here, now what's he going to do? If that ball comes in, what is the purpose of grabbing him here?
To neutralize him. So
To neutralize him, to control him, to keep him from getting to a ball that might come in. That's a foul. And the official, again, was all over it. Now, one could say, well, I'm gonna pass on that and let it develop and see. Okay, again, not necessarily wrong philosophically. And if that ball comes in and he can't get it, and then you blow your whistle for a hold, I'm okay with that. But again, end of first period, this might be a good call to get before that even happens to say, we're not doing that tonight. Right? A lot of these off ball, you have to determine, is it affecting play? I mean, if we're being honest, the rules are written and we could call a foul every play as the rule is written. We as officials need to determine, is that violation of that rule, is it affecting play? I know it doesn't say that in the rules book, but if we call every foul, we won't have any flow and there won't be any game. Right? Foul, violation, whatever. So really, if we're just being honest, we have to determine. So now we're going to determine, are they gaining an advantage or not? If we get that early, sometimes, even though they didn't really gain an advantage per se, we're telling everyone on the bench, both teams, we're not doing that tonight. Right? We're not going to hold. We're not going to keep them. And again, when I go to report to the table, I'm not going to tell the coach what happened unless he asks. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Questions?
You got to set the tone.
Especially in the first quarter, I think it's important to not call tic-tacs, and it's important to call tic-tacs. And I know I just said both things, right? But we have to know what affects the play and what's going to affect play going forward. Kind of like, or a hand check or something like that as well. That's not off ball, but all right. Next one. Fast again. Keep your eyes on those two. Okay, called a hold on White. We're going to start all the way up here. It appears as though Blue is not making much of an effort to go around White. Do we agree with that statement?
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like he's running right at him. Now, I agree White is now putting his arms kind of around. So he's not the choir boy here. Right? He's involved in this action just as much as Blue is running right at him. But Blue is running right at him on purpose to cause some kind of a scuffle. White is putting his arms around him on purpose to cause some kind of a scuffle. Do we agree with that assessment so far?
Yep.
They're both kind of at fault. So we're obviously going to keep our radar up. Where is the ball right now? Whose area?
Trail.
Trail. So Trail's watching the ball and Trail's watching this action. So who else really should be helping with that off-ball action?
Lead.
Lead. And I don't know if Lead saw it or not. I didn't talk to these officials. Well, I talked to one, but so we know as Lead in a play like this, we need to be watching, even though they're not in our area. We're watching the two in the paint, and we're noticing this scuffle as it's coming down into our area. Right? Now White's trying to play choir boy, putting his arms out. Blue's turning to get position. And what does White do?
Hugs him, grabs him. Pulling his arm. Jesus.
Looks like he might be grabbing him around the other side of his hip as well.
Yeah.
That looks like a bear hug almost.
Yeah, absolutely. We should blow that whistle.
And what does it look like this play was? Even though they're both kind of scuffling on the way down, what does this play look like it's supposed to be? A post up for a pass, yeah?
Yeah.
And by holding him here, not allowing him to post up and get position, he took away that pass advantage. That's a foul. I think that is a good call.
And he missed the travel on the ball handler. Watch the ball handler. Watch his left foot. That a travel?
I don't know. It's close.
Yeah, it's close, but that's borderline. I wouldn't call that.
But that travel was not important enough. What was important was to get this holding action.
Yeah.
Right? Because if this holding action wouldn't have happened, that travel wouldn't have happened either. He would have just dumped it in where it was supposed to go. Now, I realize as officials, we can't know plays. We don't know what they're trying to run. But as officials of basketball, most of us understand the game and can generally read what a play is going to do. Would we agree with that? And if you can kind of see that this is what was supposed to happen and they're not allowing it to happen by illegal activity, you could say, I'm going to let this play out and develop. But as it develops, you see that it didn't develop the way it should. Hold, foul.
Can I ask you a question, though?
Yeah.
So should the lead have been watching the other two knuckleheads and the trail, who was the ball handler was still in his primary? Should he have been watching that? Because otherwise you got two people watching one or two people watching the other. And so should the lead have been following that guy making his way down? So he's in the lead spot.
Okay, so I think you can see the leads right there. He's now into frame, right?
Yeah.
I think this would have been a great call for the lead to get.
Right.
Because the primary focus of the trail official should be what?
Ball handler.
That ball handler in his matchup.
Ball.
Especially since these two characters here entered into the leads area. Doesn't mean we ignore it. We all know that. We have to continue with our secondary focus on issues like that, even when they're not in our primary. But that's not the primary focus of the lead of the trail official. The trail official is watching the ball and its matchup. So the lead should come and get this.
Yeah. Where's the lead at?
The lead is just outside of frame. Here he comes. Watch this.
Right by the end. His foot is on just.
He's right there.
Oh, okay. Here it goes. All right.
It's right in front of him.
You can see his foot right in the corner there, can't you?
Yeah.
Barely. So he's there, and I'm hoping that he's watching this. And maybe the lead is saying, I'm going to let this play out. But this hold, also look at the hold as he blows whistles. What does that hold do? It gives White the better position. He got that position because he held it. So he got the position illegally. Yes?
Absolutely.
So I think, again, that's a great call. All right. Here's a good one. I think it's a good one.
Ooh,
No whistle on this play. I'll play it fast again. Excuse me. I'm going to play it again. Does this deserve a whistle, or is this a good no call?
it looks,
Whistle.
The offense. It looks like he grabbed him.
It's like
it's a little
double. It's like a double.
double whistle. Yeah, it's a little acting, and it's also a push by White.
Wow. I'm glad you said that because I see all of that too. You're correct. Let's break this down just for a second before we get into the act of what actually happened. Who should be seeing this play?
Where is he at? It should be. Maybe he's coming into view right now. It should be the trail.
Where is the center watching?
The center's watching the ball.
Oh,
Center's watching the ball in his area. And he's got two other characters in his area. Two other players. I shouldn't call them characters.
the trail's watching the ball too.
It shouldn't be. He should be watching right here.
It looks
The
like he might
lead,
be.
what's the lead watching?
He's watching the paint. He should be watching the kids down
The
there.
lead's watching the paint, and if the lead were smart, should be over to like the A in Ignatius
Yeah.
and helping to watch maybe the 3-point guys on the other end of the court, just as a secondary. Because there's nothing else for the lead to watch, yes?
Mm-hmm.
The lead could be watching these players at the top, but that's pretty far for the lead, especially considering the trail is right there.
That's all he's got.
That's all he's got. He should be, and it does look like he's watching the ball. So again, this is, I guess I haven't mentioned this yet, but this is part of off-ball coverage. We have to be watching our area, and the off-ball, if we're following the ball around, we're going to miss a play like this.
Yeah, I don't know how he missed that.
And it looks like he leaned forward like, oh, these two just went down, and he didn't know how they went down.
Yeah. He's
I'll
balling.
give him credit for not blowing his whistle and making something up. If you don't know, you're just going to have to live with it. Okay? But we want to know. So how do we make sure that we do know? We have to train ourselves to watch off ball when it's in our area. Now let's watch this play and see what happens. I'm going to try and do it as slow as I can here.
Push.
White comes in and engages blue.
Right there.
Looks like it looks like a pretty good lean in.
Yeah, he got him. And then, yeah, he got him good. And
Okay. And
three.
but do we think that it really knocks blue down like that?
That's why I said,
He pulled him down.
yeah, it's a great acting job, too.
So blue kicks his head back like he's getting mauled. Now, I'm not saying White didn't do anything illegal, but that he's faking being fouled. Now, whether it rises to the level of a warning, that's a different conversation. But he's definitely not falling down because of the action of the White. Do we agree?
Yes.
Okay. So then as he goes down, what does the black player do or blue player?
Locks his arm down.
Locks his arm and pulls the white player on top of him. Now who's at fault?
3.
Blue.
3 blue.
The blue player. If you see this happen, if you actually watch this happen, not guessing, saying, oh, they just went down, what happened? You saw that. What are you calling?
Yeah, that's a double foul.
Double.
You have options.
Yeah, that's a double foul.
You either get the first one or you get them both.
You
Yeah.
could come in and say, boop, I got to push on White because the whole reason all of this happened is because White came in.
That's true.
Okay. You could call a double foul and say, yes, White pushed him, and then blue decided to grab him and pull him down. What can't you call? I mean, I shouldn't say that. You could call a flop if that's all you're calling. Embellishment of incidental contact. I don't think that really is a good call. That's why I said you can't call that. I mean, I guess it's always an option. You could call it.
That's not a flop, though.
Even though I do think he faked that being foul, but there's too much contact here, and then there's too much contact here. So I think that's got to be a foul one way or the other, or both. Who thinks it's a foul on White?
It is a foul on White first, but
okay.
Then I mean, if he gets it, if he gets it, that's what he should be doing. But looking at the whole thing as it plays out, you got, he pulls him down with him to the ground. So
it wasn't a simultaneous foul. It was one followed by another.
Absolutely.
I say get the first one.
It's a good distinction to make that it's not a simultaneous foul. So simultaneous, if it's not simultaneous, it can't really be a double foul, right?
Right.
However,
you get a false double.
Could be a false double, which would be a foul on White, and then a technical foul on Blue, because he intentionally grabbed and pulled him. So that's contact during a dead ball. That's intentional. So it'd be a technical intentional foul. False double foul. That's ultimately what it is. Me personally, I think that's too messy. If you want to get them both, you blew your whistle, boop, I got it on White. And then you see Blue pull him down. But you haven't signaled anything. You can now say, you know what? I'm going, both of you. I think that's going to be way more accepted, whether you say it's right or not. Way more accepted. They're both still getting a personal foul. A technical intentional is not any different other than the penalty is 2 shots. So it's a little bit stricter. If you think that's really like he shouldn't have done that and I want to penalize him at that higher level, fine. I'm okay with that. But a double foul just gets them both and you go back to the point of interruption. And I think it makes your point.
Yeah.
Counterpoint, anyone, or do we all agree to that?
Yeah, that's right on. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I agree.
Well, seeing it in slow motion,
Yeah, I agree.
I get it, but in real time, seeing Blue's head bob back, I probably would have seen it as a flop. In real time.
I know. I think that's a fair statement. And we have to be honest with ourselves when we say, great, I can see it now, and maybe next time I'll get it better. But if I saw this the first time, I just only see the flop. Good.
Yeah,
you can't change our behavior or get better at calling these if we don't admit what we actually see.
Yeah, real time, I see Blue bobbing his head back, and I would call it a flop because that's in real time. That's all you have an opportunity to process. At that point,
I think me personally, I'm going to go boop, and I'm going to get the foul on White.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'm good enough to see that he grabbed him and pulled him down intentionally. Maybe I do. And if I do, I'm going to go up with a double. But my initial reaction is, boop, I'm going to get White. And if I get yelled at, I'll say, Coach, he hit him with his forearms right at, and then they fell down. And maybe he was trying to hold on so he didn't fall down on the ground. I mean, watching it slow motion, I don't have that, but.
Right. Hey, Josh, real quick. I recall you were on the game.
What? Thanks for calling me out.
And I was the center.
Yes, you were.
And in real time, it was a bang, bang play. And my eyes weren't on that pull or hold. But I think we all kind of agreed at halftime. Those two guys, we were definitely on our radar screen for future crap. And we did have a flop in that game with the kid with the blue shirt on. And he was a menace to referee. So, like, even if we didn't call anything, and I wish the trail did. But, you just sort of lick your wounds and then you kind of keep your eye on or give a talk to or whatever, moving on.
And that's a great point is, again, we can watch these videos and say, you got to get this. But reality is we're going to miss these. Some of them, we're going to get some of them. We're going to miss some of them. If you miss it, you got to go move forward. You can't rely. You can't, you have to, if you get hung up on it, you're going to ruin your whole game. If a coach comes at you and says, how is that not a foul? That's one where you can go up and say, Coach, I missed it. Coach, I only saw what happened at the end. I didn't see the whole thing. A coach isn't going to like it, but they're going to understand it. And they're going to respect that you're able to say, I just didn't see it. That's a great one. And then to that point that Dan made was, now you know, hey, number 3 and number 5, I think it was, we got to keep our eyes on these two. Because I might have missed that one, but I'm not going to miss the next one. That's a great point. All right, back to this game. I'm going to play it again fast, and then I'll slow it down. We'll discuss. What do we think?
Blue.
I think he pulled a chair out from under him.
Blue is hooking him.
What is Blue trying to do right now?
They're out.
He's kind of backing him down, clearing him out, but is White holding his ground or kind of moving with him?
Moving.
Trying to hold it.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of moving with him a little. And he's putting his arm out there trying to get the position and hold him. Okay. So I don't really have a foul with Blue coming down and trying to clear White out or back him down. But how did White end up on the floor?
White threw him down.
Did White throw him down or did White get out of Blue's way?
He got out of the way.
He got out of the
He
way.
pulled the chair out from under him. That's what we call it.
Blue was trying to back down White, using the pressure onto White. And when White removed his body, yes, his arm was around him a little. I see that, but I don't think he was holding him or even pushing him. I think he was trying to get position, and then he's like, all right, fine, go that way. I'm not going to go. And then he fell down.
That's a no call.
No call?
I think that's a nothing. And you can see the coach here. Coach wanted too. Of course, he wanted on the last one that we said was a good call. We have to see this whole play, and we have to know why players go to the ground. And that's why I do not like, I don't know if you've all heard this before or not. When there's bodies on the ground, we need to have a whistle. No, that's not true. I think it might be a good general rule of thumb. When bodies are on the ground, something probably illegal happened, but that doesn't fit in every situation. When bodies are on the ground, we need to know why they're on the ground. Because in this play, in my opinion, the body was on the ground because he was going back, and then, oh, there's nothing there to hold me, and I fell down. And then you just pinned a foul on a White player who didn't really do anything wrong. Lots of incidental contact, but nothing illegal that I saw.
Yeah, it's a no call.
Comments?
When does Blue's action rise to the charge? Like, can you keep pushing White down? I ref a bunch of games where the kid sizes are more disparate and the big kids just keep pushing through the smaller ones. When does it become a charge?
When does it become a charge?
Is there any displacement? I mean,
well, it's a good question, because if they're even, and this is not a great play to talk about that, but if White were to hold his ground, trying to hold his ground, and Blue kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him, you could have a player control foul. It in my opinion, it depends on what's happening on the court. If the ball is here at the top of the key and he moves him all the way down to the corner before he falls down to here, and then he tries to pass it in, you may have a player control foul if he displaced that player against his will. I say may because you may not. It all depends. If the ball is up, you see the trail all the way at the division line? Let's see, the ball's way up there, and he backs him down and nothing happens. You may have nothing because it doesn't really affect or fit the play. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And off ball is a little bit harder to call a foul on displacement than it is with the ball. And by rule, it's not. But by philosophy, again, I don't have the ball. I'm trying to get position. There's no guarantee that ball's coming in. Again, we don't know what plays they're running or if it's supposed to come in. I want to allow the players to be able to be physical. I want them to be able to get a position and hold their position. I don't want anyone to get an advantage doing anything illegal, but basketball, especially at the boys varsity level, basketball is a physical sport, right? So we have to allow the kids to be able to play and have some of that physicality and not just call whistles right away. So I know that's not a great answer to your question, but more on a dribbler, when a player's dribbling and backing down and backing down and backing down, we should probably get that as opposed to letting that play on, because they're gaining an obvious advantage with the ball, backing them down, getting closer to the bucket, and then turning and shooting. Does that help with the question at least?
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
All right.
Given where the ball is on that play, it looks like they're just two big guys playing basketball.
Right.
They're just fighting for position at that point.
I agree. In this one, it doesn't even really stand out. Again, the kid falls down, but it doesn't really stand out to me as, hey, these kids are really going at it. I gotta really make my mark.
Yeah. Where the ball is on that play, it doesn't have any effect on the two of them.
Now, again, I'll say this. Sometimes it doesn't matter where the ball is, right? Doesn't answer all our questions, but I do think it does come into play in some situations. All right. Here we go. Did you see the play I want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, a full Nelson looked like.
Off-ball play outside in the center's area.
Right there.
No whistle on that play. What do we think?
I mean, that coach was hot. I know he has to be hot. Right. Oh my God. You got it. Oh my God.
Do we have anything on that, or is that a good no call?
I don't know. They look like they got tangled up.
I think that's got to be a whistle.
Absolutely.
Do that elbow.
Red comes in hard to start. Like, all right, I'm definitely going to tangle with you. Comes in.
And he whipped.
Okay, then as White tries to do the right thing and spin around, he hooks his arm and grabs him, not allowing him to spin. Then when he does disengage, his other hand comes back and kind of flicks him in the head.
Yeah, that's not a seal on a rebound.
That's a foul.
Yeah, that's a hold. See it now. That's a hold.
Now, I know that center official very well. And I talked to that center official about this play. And he said he didn't see the initial tangle. Didn't know who started it. Kind of watched to let it play out, and they disengaged. And then there was another foul that was called, so okay, it's gone. But agreed that it was probably something, but didn't have a clue. Wasn't watching that. So shame on him for not seeing it, but didn't know, and so didn't blow his whistle. Because heaven forbid you call a foul on White. That was not a foul on White. Do we agree?
Yeah, absolutely not.
That was all red. So what if the official says, oh, it looks like White was he's behind him, giving him the business? I'm calling that on White. Well, that would be awful. I'd rather have no call here than giving it to the wrong player. Do we agree?
Absolutely.
And only, in my opinion, only the center can get this. There's no other official that is going to see this play.
Right.
In fact, that center needs to come down further toward the basket on the sideline. And I think maybe it looks like he's flat-footed and kind of unengaged at the moment, probably watching the ball. So we have to constantly tell ourselves in the game, watch these players, stay in your area. Because if we don't, we can find ourselves very easily either ball watching or maybe like in a boredom kind of glaze, so to speak. Foul on red, yeah?
Yep.
All right.
Hey, Josh, in
Yes.
a world of two-man mechanics, which is where I come from, because I've never officiated a three-man, a three-official game, would that be a foul that would be easily missed in the world of two-man mechanics?
Let's see. So center is going to be trail and two-person, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And I think trail can very easily get this as well. It's going to be a little bit harder because trail's got to help with that ball that's going up in the air. Not that there's much to help at this point, but trail's going to be watching the two players in the paint, even though that's the leads, I guess. But all the other players are in the leads area, right? So trail's going to be watching maybe those four players. So I think the trail in a two-person game really has a great shot at getting this.
Okay.
If
Makes
we're
sense.
staying engaged, which is, again, why it's a little bit sadder, in my opinion, that in a three-person game, we didn't get this because we've got 6 eyes out there. There's no reason why that center shouldn't have seen that.
Yeah, I mean, he's standing right there. You got to get that. I mean, how could you not? I mean, I guess he was ball watching. He had to be. Mhm.
Yeah, I would think if it was a two-man mechanics and that was a trail, those guys would be right out of sight.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, now, if you do have a foul here, does that ball count if it goes in?
Ball is released, then the foul happens. So the basket counts, but it would go against red.
So if the ball goes in, it's still going to count.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, Josh, where do you put the ball?
If the tangle up's a foul?
Yeah, it's right on that division
All right,
line of.
great question. Great question. So we've got a foul on these two that are tussling in front of the center. Okay? Ball's in the air. And it misses. Where does the ball get put into play at?
3 feet off the end, and they're right off the lane, 3 feet.
It's close enough to that line because it's the same line we use for out of bounds, sideline, end line, out of bounds calls. Okay? You could put that on the side. I honestly think that's outside on the side. But it's close.
It's below. It goes at the bottom because isn't it below?
It's in the trapezoid, isn't it?
From the free throw line down to the corner.
Right. It goes down.
On the side.
My point is, if it's that close, as an official, make a decision. 28-foot mark or 3-foot mark.
But the ball's going the other way, Josh. So
the ball has nothing to do with it.
well, no, but if you call a foul on red, white's going to get the ball.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up.
You're in the back court now. You're not in the front court. You're in the back court.
Okay, but if you're in the back court, where does the ball go for a throw in on a foul?
Point of interruption.
It goes to nearest to where the foul occurred, which is still using that trapezoid line, which would still be either the sideline or the end line.
I'm putting it in on the end line, but that's
and you wouldn't be wrong. Yeah. And if you put it on the sideline, I don't think you would be wrong. I think it is too close to be able to really say this is where it needs to go. Do we not agree, or was it close enough?
Yeah, it's about 10 feet in on each end.
If they're below the foul line extended, the point of interruption would be on the baseline, right?
Right, absolutely. Down at the bottom.
No,
it's
because it's a diagonal line from the end of that free throw line to the corner.
Point of interruption has nothing to do with it. You call a foul.
You're right on the edge. You're right on the borderline there.
Yeah,
you're right on the borderline.
Okay.
I just drew a line on there, and they're standing right over the middle of that where that line is.
And you're right; it is going the other way, but it still doesn't matter. We have to. And again, I don't think anybody, you could take it on the side, the strong side, where the trail and the lead are right now. You could take it on the end line on the end of Conant, and no one's probably going to say anything to you. My point is, they just want the ball back and go the other way. So pick a spot and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just responding to it's not one of the 4 spots. It's actually the closest.
Yeah, it wouldn't be one of the 4 spots. You're absolutely right. Oh, good question.
Messy.
2 more.
We need slow-mo replay in high school.
Oh, God, hold on, Coach. I got to watch this again.
We'll have 2.5-hour games then.
All right, now the official calls a foul that nobody saw. Was it a foul?
Oh, he just put his arm over.
Did you see it?
Yeah. He reached a little bit, but
good call, bad call, middle of the road call.
no call.
No call.
No call.
Did it have any effect on play?
No.
Right.
No.
Was it an egregious hold or push?
No.
Who had the best look at this?
The lead.
The lead is looking right at it.
They're going the other way, so he's the
Trail.
right.
The center either, now again, there might be context in the game that we're not aware of, right? It's third quarter. Maybe these two have been at each other all game and we got to get one because they've been getting away with stuff all game. But let's take that out of it. Okay? No context, just this clip alone. Yes, that's illegal. 100% that's illegal. But the lead is watching it and assessing it, and the ball goes to an open man all the way to the other side. That is an easy play on. Do we agree?
Yeah.
And if I were the lead, I'd be like, why are you blowing that right in front of me?
Yeah,
Are you
sounds
kidding
familiar.
me? Like, I saw it. I didn't blow my whistle on purpose. Okay? Do we agree with that?
Yep. Oh, 11's holding him all the way.
Okay, happened right in front of the trail. Another throw in play, and honestly, throw-ins are big off-ball plays because everybody except the thrower is off-ball. So we all have to be watching our area vigilantly because we could have a play like this where it looks like orange is setting an illegal screen, right? Oh, I'm going to make sure I set an illegal screen. But white is just like holding orange from getting around that screen. Agreed?
Almost like his arm got trapped.
I mean, he's holding him right here just to even start before the screen even gets there. Now, someone could say, yeah, but that screen, his leg's out, and it's causing a... Well, but he hits him in the hip. He hits him in the chest. That part's legal. He's even as the screener has his arms in, as in like, I don't want to set a bad screen. And White puts his arm. You see White's arm sticking out there?
Yeah.
He's sticking to there trying to keep him from going around that screen. That is a very well-designed screenplay. I think this is a good holding call.
41's feet are a little broad on that, but he didn't move.
The feet are a little wide, but where's the contact happening?
Oh, it's well before that, and around the number 4. So,
and look how close number 4 is going around his screener, literally like rubbing his shoulder.
yeah,
I mean, that's textbook offense
yeah.
screen. I just think there's nothing. Again, yes, his legs are a little wide, but all the contact's up top in the torso, which is legal. Well, he's leaning into him a little. Well, okay, I don't like slightly.
Right?
And the hold is here. The hold is before there's even any contact on the screen. Do we all agree with that? We all see that?
Yep.
Hey, Josh, a little commentary. Whenever you have a big man in a game, naturally all eyes are on the big man, and he's got to have like really clean screens. And it's obvious if he goes outside of his box or leans or stuff like that. So generally speaking, those guys are pretty well coached to be disciplined. Some of the smaller guys and medium guys, those are the guys I kind of pay attention to sloppy screens. Because the big guys, I mean, every eye in the place, you'll know when they do a bad screen, but the sneaky guys in the game are kind of the medium and the small guys that kind of go outside their box and give you a little extra. I don't know. That's just in the back of my head.
We also have to pay attention to the elbows, right? That's where a lot of the screens are. Yes, there's some leaning. I allow some leaning, but when that elbow is up, especially with a lean and an elbow, that's illegal. And we've got to see that. All right, let's do a bonus video before I let you go. Did you see what happened? Here it is. Watch. Anybody have anything on that?
Was he trying to throw the ball toward the ref? I mean, he shouldn't be touching the ball.
Did he intentionally throw it at his head? Or was he passing it to the player?
I'd
probably let it go.
Hard to tell.
Let it go.
Here, watch it fast again. Look at the speed of the ball. Look at how the player receiving the ball kind of reacts. I don't think he's intentionally throwing at his head.
No.
I think, and you're right, he's not supposed to interfere with the ball, but the ball came down, bounced off of his player, right to him. So he's like, here you go. Was it a little high of a pass? Yes. Did he do it intentionally? I suppose he could have, but I just don't see an intentional act here. The coach thought it was intentional, and he made sure that he made his voice known. And the kid made a little kind of a, are you kidding me? Look at that. But if you look at the reaction of the kid, he totally recoils. Barely even tries to put his hands up to stop the ball. That tells me that that kid is trying to start something. Yes? That might have caught him by surprise too. So maybe he's not trying to start something. But those are stuff that is on ball, so to speak. But after the ball goes through, we can't just take a break and be like, okay, they're going to bounce it in and we're going to go the other way. We have to pay attention. We have to see that. We have to know what happens. So when we're called on it, we can say, Coach, I saw it. He was passing him the ball and it was not a great pass. Or, yeah, I saw it. Or the kid didn't even try. I don't know. Any explanation that you have as to why you would or wouldn't have it. Or if you tee him up and you say, well, what's that for? He threw the ball right at his head. He can't do that. Okay, as long as you know what happened. Everyone understand that? That was kind of a short bonus. Do you want another bonus clip? Come on.
Yeah.
The answer is
Oh, yes.
Always
Yes,
yes.
please.
the answer is always yes. What do we think of that? Block charge play in the post.
That's It was interesting. He had his hands down. Look.
That's a flop all day.
That's a flop.
Yeah.
Look at the trajectory of the player. Yes, he comes in and causes contact. I agree. But then what does he do? He, for the most part, stops and continues to go around the player, right?
Yeah.
And the kid just throws himself back.
A lot of drama right there.
Yeah. Well, that's an Academy Award right there.
I think that's either a flop or nothing. I would like to see a flop on that, but I'm okay with nothing. But what I don't like is that the lead came across the paint to get that. And the lead had a cadence whistle, so I'll give them credit for that. There's a cadence whistle saying, okay, that's a foul, and they're not going to get it, so I'm going to get it. Okay, fine, for a cadence whistle. But I don't think it is a foul. Does the lead have anything else to look at? Nobody has anything else to look at. This is the only thing going on in the court right now.
Yeah, everybody else is 6 feet away.
So I understand why the lead is watching this and why the lead has a whistle, or because there's nothing else going on. But this is where we have to be disciplined and know that's not our area. And my partner saw it, and we're going to go with it. And if a coach yells at me, I'm going to say, Coach, my partner had a great look at that. You can talk to him when he comes over here.
Doesn't it look like the center? Doesn't it look like the center was straight line though on that play? So maybe he deferred to the lead because it looks like he had 3 guys between him and the ball.
I don't know. Were you, Josh?
I'm going back.
I'm sorry.
I've already showed like 3 clips where I screwed up. You mean me to announce another one?
Well, it looks like the center might have been straight line there, where it might have been easier for him to defer to the lead.
Okay, so the center comes down to get a better view here.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's good. Center could have maybe gone up. What do we think? Is up better or down better? Or doesn't it matter?
Probably up better.
I think up probably, at least with this court, because all the players are up higher, I think up probably would have been better. But at least he moved to get a better angle, so that's good. Then the ball got dumped in, and he has a great look at it until maybe those players get in his way. But he's starting to move to get out of the way. So I know that's not exactly what you're asking, but I think the center is okay. The center's trying to move and get a good angle. When the actual contact happened, was he straight lined? Yeah, maybe. Hard for him to tell what kind of contact there was, but so is the lead. The lead does not have a great angle at this, right?
Trail's got the best angle on this thing.
Trail has the best angle. So I think if this is a foul and nobody's going to call this, I think the cadence whistle has to come from the trail.
Right.
Yeah.
All he's got to do is move in about 2 or 3 steps, and he's got a perfect call.
Right? Because you cannot tell how much contact there is from the lead or the center. They're both stacked on this play.
Should the lead have actually been pretty close to that free throw of the line there? The paint?
Well,
he's way out.
Yeah, they're teaching us to be further out, but further out is not always better. In this scenario, there's 2, 4, 6 players over here.
It's on the weak side.
Right? There's absolutely nobody in the lead's area. So the lead needs to come over. The lead should be closing down here, thinking about rotating.
Right.
I think so.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to explain is the lead's probably over there because that's what they're telling us to do. Stay wide, stay wide, stay wide. But when they say stay wide, it's when there's action that you need to be watching. You need to rotate. You need to move, slide back and forth on the end line to where the ball and players are. And because again, he probably should have been rotated by now. The ball's here. He's closed down. Oh, there's 6 players over there. They're going to, oh, this guy's coming down to post up. I'm rotating.
Yep.
Now, once he has the ball, I've finished my rotation and I'm in a much better position. If the lead was over on this side, he would have seen this perfectly. Agreed?
Yeah, if he was underneath, he would have had the whole play.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to take away is movement. We talked about the center moving to get a better angle, but even the lead and the trail, even when they're off ball, need to be moving depending on where the players are and the ball is. Because if you do have to move to get into a better position, you should be putting yourself in a better position to put yourself into a better position. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's our time. How was that?
That's good.
A lot of, I mean, off ball is honestly live. Reffing off ball is tough. It's hard because we don't want to call everything, but we also don't want to call nothing. So we have to really like walk that line as to what affects the game and what doesn't. So hopefully when you guys are all working your postseason next week, you will get those off ball calls perfectly.
I wasn't chosen again.
Did you put in for it, John?
Sorry, Josh.
I'm going to email the state and ask them what they're doing. Next month, you all know what's coming up, right? What happens next month?
State finals.
State finals. We are going to be March 20th, third Thursday of the month. It'll be the week after the finals. We're going to take the championship games. Last year I did the 4A boys and girls, and we're going to clip a few and critique them.
Nice.
And we're not going to call out names. Last year we had a couple names called out and some hurt feelings, I think. And it's not about hurt feelings or calling people out. It's about plays and how they can happen even at the state level. It doesn't matter if you're a state final official or not. We make mistakes or there's things that we can do better. Or, you know, that's the whole point, is to kind of give the perspective of, you think you make a lot of mistakes. Well, when you get to the higher levels, you're probably still going to make mistakes. Hopefully it's less, but there's always something to learn from everybody. So hopefully you can make it next month, March 20th. That's always a fun one because we've all just watched them on TV and now we get to have me break it down and slow it down with slow-mo so we know exactly what happened. All right, well, thanks for coming on and good luck for those of you that got a postseason assignment. Those of you that got a postseason assignment for next week, good luck.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.